Ilocano is the third most spoken language of the Republic of the Philippines. An Austronesian language, it is related to such languages as Indonesian, Malay, Fijian, Maori, Hawaiian, Malagasy, Samoan, Tahitian, Chamorro, Tetum, and Paiwan. It is closely related to some of the other Austronesian languages of Northern Luzon, and has slight mutual intelligibility with the Balangao language and eastern dialects of Bontoc language. In September 2012, the province of La Union passed an ordinance recognizing Ilocano as an official provincial language, alongside Filipino and English as national and official languages of the Philippines, respectively. It is the first province in the Philippines to pass an ordinance protecting and revitalizing a native language, but there are also other languages spoken in the province of La Union, Pangasinan language and Kankanaey. Classification: Ilocano comprises its own branch in the Philippine Cordilleran family of languages. It is spoken as a native language by 7 million people. A lingua franca of the northern region, it is spoken as a secondary language by more than 2 million people who are native speakers of Pangasinan, Ibanag, Ivotan, and other languages in northern Luzon. Geographic distribution: Ilocanos occupy the narrow, barren strip of land in the northwestern tip of Luzon, squeezed in between the inhospitable Cordillera mountain range to the east and the South China Sea to the west. This harsh geography molded a people known for their clannishness, tenacious industry and frugality, traits that were vital for survival. It also induced Ilocanos to become a migratory people, always in search for better opportunities and for land to build a life on. Although their homeland constitutes the provinces of Ilocos Norte, Ilocos Sur, La Union and Abra, their population has spread east and south of their original territorial borders. Ilocano migrants flocked to the more fertile Cagayan Valley, Apayay Mountains and the Pangasinan Plains during the 18th and 19th centuries and now constitute a majority in many of these areas. In the 20th century, many Ilocano families moved to Metro Manila and further south to Mindanao, specifically in North Cotabato, South Cotabato, Maguindanao, Sarangani, and the Zamboanga Peninsula, but the bulk mostly settled in Sultan Kudarat Province. Called the Mainong generation, the Ilocano became the first Filipino ethnic group to emigrate en masse to the United States, where they formed sizable communities in Hawaii, California, Washington and Alaska. Ilocano is the native language of most of the early Filipino immigrants in the United States. Tagalog is used by more contemporary Filipino Americans because it is the basis for Filipino, the national language of the people of the Philippines. A large, growing number of Ilocanos can also be found in the Middle East, Hong Kong, Japan, South Korea, Singapore, Canada, Australia and Europe. Writing system: Pre-colonial, pre-colonial Ilocanos of all classes wrote in a syllabic system prior to European arrival. They used a system that is termed as an abugida, or an alphasyllabary. It was similar to the Tagalog and Pangasinan scripts, where each character represented a consonant-vowel, or CV, sequence. The Ilocano version, however, was the first to designate coda consonants with a diacritic mark, a cross or virama, shown in the Doctrina Christiana of 1621, one of the earliest surviving Ilocano publications. Before the addition of the virama, writers had no way to designate coda consonants. The reader, on the other hand, had to guess whether the vowel was read or not. Due to this, vowels E and I are interchangeable and letters O and U, for instance tendera and tendera, modern. In recent times, there have been two systems in use, the Spanish system and the Tagalog system. In the Spanish system, words of Spanish origin kept their spellings. Native words, on the other hand, conformed to the Spanish rules of spelling. Nowadays, only the older generation of Ilocanos use the Spanish system. In the system based on that of Tagalog, there is more of a phoneme-to-letter correspondence, and better reflects the actual pronunciation of the word. The letters NG constitute a digraph and counts as a single letter, following N in alphabetization. As a result, pneumo-humility appears before Ngumgultutu and newer dictionaries. Words of foreign origin, most notably those from Spanish, need to be changed in spelling to better reflect Ilocano phonology. Words of English origin may or may not conform to this orthography. A prime example using this system is the weekly magazine Banawag. Samples of the two systems, the following are two versions of the Lord's Prayer. The one on the left is written using the Spanish-based orthography, while the one on the right uses the Tagalog-based system. Ilocano and education, with the implementation by the Spanish of the bilingual education system of 1897, Ilocano, together with the other 7 major languages, was allowed to be used as a medium of instruction until the 2nd grade. It is recognized by the Commission on the Filipino Language as one of the major languages of the Philippines. Constitutionally, Ilocano is an auxiliary official language in the regions where it is spoken and serves as auxiliary media of instruction therein. In recent years, a movement in both the lower and the upper house of the Congress pressed for the usage of the mother tongue as a medium of instruction until the 6th grade. Literature. Ilocano animistic past offers a rich background in folklore, mythology and superstition. There are many stories of good and malevolent spirits and beings. Its creation mythology centers on the giant Saran and her husband Angelo, and Namasua. The epic story Bayag ni Lamang is undoubtedly one of the few indigenous stories from the Philippines that survived colonialism, although much of it is now acculturated and shows many foreign elements in the retelling. It reflects values important to traditional Ilocano society. It is a hero unregistered trademark's journey steeped in courage, loyalty, pragmatism, honor, and ancestral and familial bonds. Ilocano culture revolves around life rituals, festivities and oral history. These were celebrated in songs, dances, poems, riddles, proverbs, literary verbal jousts called Bucanagon and epic stories. Phonology, segmental, vowels. Modern Ilocano has 2 dialects, which are differentiated only by the way the letter E is pronounced. In the Amianan dialect, there exist only 5 vowels while the Abagatan dialect employs 6. Amianan, Abagatan, reduplicate vowels are not slurred together, but voiced separately. Sanzaan, the letter in bold is the graphic representation of the vowel. For a better rendition of vowel distribution, please refer to the IPA vowel chart. Unstressed is pronounced, e, in all positions except final syllables, like mada, mi ed but niwat is pronounced, e angstrom iwat. Although the modern writing system is largely phonetic, there are some notable conventions. OU and IE, in native morphemes, the close back rounded vowel is written differently depending on the syllable. If the vowel occurs in the ultima of the morpheme, it is written O. Elsewhere, U. Example, root, luto cook, igluto to cook, lutun to cook. Example, lutun data. Instances such as mesopolmto, you will manage to find it, to need it, are still consistent. Note that mesopolmto is, in fact, 3 morphemes, mazapol, mo and, n, 2. An exception to this rule, however, is lord. Also, U in final stressed syllables can be pronounced, o, like, dinam for danum. That said, the 2 vowels are not highly differentiated in native words due to fact that was an allophone of in the history of the language. In words of foreign origin, notably Spanish, they are phonemic. Example, uso use, oso bear. Unlike U and O, I and E are not allophones, but I in final stressed syllables in words ending in consonants can be, e, like ubng, ishi angstrom. The 2 closed vowels become glides when followed by another vowel. The close back rounded vowel becomes, w, before another vowel. And the close front unrounded vowel, j. Example, quatter money, pariah bitter melon. In addition, dental alveolar consonants become palatalized before, unstressed and are pronounced, e, and, ish except in final syllables, like pinta s, pay northeast taz and buta copyright ng, beshi te angstrom but banga and paraba are pronounced, e bar. Angstrom a 3/4 and, pay e 3/4 abu 3/4. Pronunciation of, the letter E represents 2 vowels in the non-nuclear dialects in words of foreign origin and in native words, and only one in the nuclear dialects of the Ilocos provinces. Diphthongs.